Alright, this video looked interesting. It's by this guy named Leighton Observes, and it's called The Online Left is Eating Itself. And, I mean, I've been feeling this way for the longest time. For those of you who don't know, I was canceled by an online leftist group, the Dead by Daylight community, and now I'm under this identity now. I think that there are arguments to make about the far left having like a constant purity testing problem, but we also have to remember that right-wingers have the same issue. You know, you have Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was the MAGA voice for a while, but now, like, she slightly disagreed with Donald Trump, and suddenly now people just don't take her seriously on the Conservative Party anymore. Like, if you criticize Donald Trump, you are basically ousted from the Conservative Party, and you're, like, basically called Rhino. That's what, like, happened with Mike Pence, even if I don't think Mike Pence is a good person. Like, at the very least, Mike Pence had some fucking balls to stand up to Trump and be like, yeah, no, January 6th is something that should be condemned. But anyway, I don't think purity testing is a issue exclusive to the right, but I guess we'll talk about it a lot here in this video.
Kaya, please just fucking go. I can't stand any of you dumb in this goddamn chat. You are just a trans person. I despise you more than anything else on the planet.
Whoa, I feel like some of these clips are a little bit out of context. Not that Hassan is particularly a good person, but like I'm pretty sure like there was a lot more context to those clips.
As far as me being a propagandist goes, everyone is a propagandist.
It's just the intro, to be fair, though. So I guess that's kind of the point. It's meant to be a little bit out of context.
I'm just honest about it. Old enough to count, old enough to mount, question mark?
If 2025 will be remembered for anything, it'll be for being the year that the online left finally gave up on mommy and daddy.
Contra puts out this post on Reddit.
ContraPoints, who is one of the platform's most prominent purveyors of style over substance,
released as bad of a take.
This like rambling narcissistic post.
Let's read it and let's talk about what the problem is with it.
Will they be happy if I get in the bath and pour milk on a mannequin of Netanyahu?
Oh my god, the fucking, what's his name, Cavernacle? Dude, I remember the last time I watched Cavernacle, I watched one of, like, his coverage on the fucking, what was it, the LOL overruled situation back in, like, July or August. He is a obnoxious virtue signaling idiot that is so desperate to seem like a good guy that he's willing to jump on a bandwagon without any fucking proof. And unfortunately, that is common in a lot of, like, far leftist spaces, unfortunately. It just sucks because, like, all thinking just, like, goes out the window.
I also feel a lot of other things.
Do I think it's a genocide? Yes. Is that bad? Yes. But...
Natalie typed this out, read it through.
I mean, if we're talking about the Israel-Palestine situation, like, again, I've made my take on Israel-Palestine pretty clear. I'm still very pro-Palestinian. I used to be a lot more pro-Palestinian, but, I think that Israel has a right to exist, but that just because you think Israel has a right to exist does not mean that they should be indiscriminately bombing and killing Palestinians and committing war crimes. And also, like, killing them through starvation. I don't think that means you should be doing that. But again, I think it's okay to say that Israel has a right to exist without what Netanyahu's doing, because Netanyahu is a disgusting war criminal.
Made sure there were no grammatical errors, and then thought that this was good to publish. Crazy. A shameful statement.
I don't know, man. It's just like, I don't really criticize Hassan as much anymore. Like, obviously, he still deserves criticism. But, like, at this point, Hassan is just a fucking lolcow. And after the whole, like, Colorgate situation, like, nobody takes Hassan seriously anymore. Besides which, Hassan is not nearly as much of a threat to America as, like, Donald Trump or all the fucking right-wing grifters that support him wanting to take over Greenland and threatening all of our allies with NATO.
Your dog got electrocuted, you spun the fact that it wasn't a buzzer? It's not! Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. That's not even a counterexample.
Meanwhile.
Oh my god, a Super Smash Bros. Session of Kaya and Hassan. Wow.
When it comes to meta discourse about BreadTube, which swings around every few months, commonly there is one side that says BreadTube isn't dead, and another side that says not only is BreadTube dead, it has been dead for literal years now. Is it dead? Is it not? Is it in a third liminal space in between? Is it on life support? Is anybody even a BreadTuber when nobody in the purported group even claims the name? What even is BreadTube anymore, you know? It is for the reason of that question lacking a definitive answer that I am coining a new term despite being one qualification shy of a PhD and probably not able to coin terms. Whatever. Pop leftists.
Pop leftists. Oh boy.
A pop leftist being a pop.
Bro, I love how we just showed Destiny and like Vosh, both of which are like complete utter dog shit pieces of shit that like engaged in like very lewd behavior, we'll say. Like Vosh had Lolly and Destiny seemingly had like CSIM of a 17-year-old, so
leftist figure that uses pop culture to convey, to advance their Marxist, socialist, leftist content. Despite some of the ambiguity that we have established so far, what is clear is that some of the figureheads of this movement, if you want to call it that, have demonstrated themselves to becoming increasingly compromised, shall we say. By which I mean, if politics is supposed to be about the codification of ethics and morals, then some of these people, some of these emissaries, have demonstrated themselves to have the exact opposite morals and ethics that they theoretically, supposedly should have. What is it that...
Well, I think a big thing is when a certain, I guess, political side has the dominant narrative. And for a while, I would say for the longest time, the left has had the dominant narrative for years. Like, especially during 2020 with the whole Black Lives Matter and, like, George Floyd stuff. Like, that's when the left had the dominant narrative. And the, even before that, like, years before that, with Barack Obama in presidency, like, I would say the left pretty much had the dominant narrative there as well. Like, that's when infighting started to rise more and more as time went on. I mean, people were getting, like, more, like, the idea of cancellation became, like, kind of a thing. But now it's conservatives that have the dominant narrative, and they are infighting more because there's not really much to fight for. They have the narrative. And so a big part of that infighting was Nick Fuentes with America First. There's a group of conservatives that like Jewish people, and there's a group of conservatives that don't like Jewish people. And same for if you don't, fully conform to Donald Trump and you don't like even the smallest bit of him, then that is enough to purity test you out of the fucking party, basically.
Two-Face said in The Dark Knight, either you die a hero or you live long enough to become a grifter, animal abuser, genocide apologist, pedophile, misogynist, or sex offender. Is that what he said? Is that what Two-Face said in The Dark Knight?
Oh, jeez. Sounds like Destiny all in one go.
Dark Knight.
I don't even know, like, I don't know if that video will go live before this one, but I watched, like, a long hit piece by Destiny, which I would say for the most part was a pretty solid hit piece. It shows, like, a pattern of behavior and history with Destiny's behavior. And, like, I don't even know if you could even consider Destiny, like, part of the left. Like, he pretends to be part of the left, but I don't even know if he really is. Like, I feel like there is a world where Destiny could be, like, a legit conservative. Like, I feel like if the Conservative Party wasn't so quote-unquote batshit crazy, like, Destiny might be, like, a legit conservative.
Yeah, that's a quote, right? Hello and welcome back to the Latent Observes channel. It is I, the Latent in question. It is you looking as dashing as ever, and today, as I've already spoken to it, we're talking about pop leftists. And of course, as I foreshadowed, we're going to be getting to mommy and daddy and everybody else in between, but for now, baby boy, we have a date with...
Oh man, bro, I literally just watched a hit piece on Destiny. We know I literally know everything that's about to come up here.
Destiny, if you don't know, is a political streamer and debate bro.
And a complete dogshit human being. Like, Destiny is just not a good person. And I think I said this in my Destiny hit piece. Like, I think the reason why people enjoyed Destiny for the longest time is because he had, like, an aura around him when he was debating. He's very good at debating. And he comes across as intellectual, more intellectual than I think he actually is. Not to say that he's, like, a completely stupid person, but I do think he exaggerates how smart he actually is. And because of that, like, people, like, Destiny had, like, this aura around him where, like, he was almost untouchable in a lot of ways. But, like, I think after controversy after controversy after controversy, the straw that broke the camel's back was early 2025 and late 2024 when he got into the controversy of non-consensually sharing Pixie's nudes with other girls. Like I think it was like his Discord account got hacked, but I guess the hacker found in like the DMs like Destiny non-consensually sharing other women's nudes, basically behind the scenes. So that was definitely the part where a lot of people, like, I guess the veil shattered for Destiny more than anything else.
Became privy to him or became aware of him maybe around 2 to 3 years ago or something, during the peak, during the precipice. Motherfuckers love saying the word precipice. Of the whole manosphere thing, which I suppose is still going on, but it feels like it's tapered off a little bit, you know.
Well, yeah, after Andrew Tate got outed as a sex trafficking, grooming rapist, I doubt that the Red Pill movement is going to continue going without their fatherly figure, Andrew Tate. And looks maxing seems to have made like a comeback with like Clavicular and Face IQ coming back into the picture.
Oh. My introduction to...
I don't know how like prominent it's going to be though, truthfully. Like I feel like if Red Pill didn't work or have that much longevity, I don't know if looks maxing will either.
Him was I suppose the male feminist that was invited to these things. You know, he was on Fresh and Fit, he was on the Whatever podcast at some point, you know, putting forward his supposedly feminist ideals, you know. What's his at omniliberal? He's a left person, you know. So yeah, you see him in these little podcast clips, these, and you know, your little YouTube shorts and probably TikToks where people repost and whatnot too. So you think this is a verbally adept guy, quick with the mouth, pause. I meant like verbally fluid, high verbal IQ, whatever. He's defending the women, you know, against these misogynist men, so you think, oh, what a good guy, he's got blue hair. Wow, what a good guy. He could never be evil. He would never be evil now, would he? He would.
Well, again, Destiny just like doesn't like, he advocates for like values of women, and he advocates for all these values, but he like saying that but he can't even maintain boundaries of the women that he talks to behind the scenes. And it's intentional that he goes after women that are more like mentally insane, because if they decide to come out with allegations against Destiny, Destiny can turn around and be like, oh, that woman is crazy and she has no credibility, you shouldn't believe her.
Never be. And that is how I would have foreshadowed and introduced Destiny if it wasn't for the fact that in between filming originally and editing, I didn't come across a whole host of other interesting content from Destiny, shall we say, that quite frankly I could make a whole other video on, and so I'm going to. What are those interesting bits that I came across regarding Destiny, I hear you ask? Well, here's a little sneak peek.
When you first learn how to shoot, it's usually better to shoot in the isosceles stance, right? Both arms are even, your entire body is like straight, right? Your legs are lined up with your shoulders, and you're shooting right out in front of you like this. But the way, I didn't know this until I started watching her shoot, right? But what happened was when she fired, right? When she was shooting like this and she shot, the way that the recoil traveled through her body would make her ass jiggle in the most delicious fucking way. Oh my god, it was the most beautiful fucking sight I've ever seen in my entire fucking life.
Okay, incredible.
I don't know how it worked, but just every time she shot, the way that her body absorbed the recoil, there was like that ass jiggle every shot. Oh my fucking god. It was the best fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Holy shit.
I don't know.
Oh. Dude, I really like booties. Damn, that's fucking beautiful.
Oh my god, that is fucked up. That guy. I was like 16. Okay, I'm done.
Oh, incredible.
I'm done with.
I mean, it wouldn't be Destiny's first rodeo with minors. I mean, he like back in like, what was it, 2013 or something? I forget the specific year. But like Destiny, like when he was 23 years old, he like sent like messages, like private messages to like other people, sending a picture of like a 15-year-old in a bikini saying how he got a hard-on from that and how she was so fucking hot. And then later with the having CSAM of a fucking 17-year-old while he's in his 30s.
Streaming, I'm done with streamers. I was like 16 when we went to the gun show. He's like, what is he, like 30 or something? Did you watch it? Isn't it creepy as fuck? Stop attacking me! You were talking about my ass when I'm 16 years old! We were just friends. Like, we were both streamers and we were friends. And we both like the same game.
Yeah.
That is... No.
So, you know, subscribe for that, because that was just the tip of the iceberg. And, yeah, moving on. The Vorsh section is going to be pretty straightforward and short because
yeah, well, Vosh is he kind of caught in 4K with short stack goblins, we'll say. Yeah, Vosh is an interesting case. I know, like, in 2020, what was it? Was it 2025? It was last year. Vosh had, like, brand new allegations come out that he was talking with, like, a 17-year-old when he was, like, 23, or was he 23? I think he was 23. I'm pretty sure those allegations are unconfirmed as of right now, but, you know, it, wouldn't surprise me given the, I guess, material he got exposed with, the lolly stuff.
Low-key pedophile.
It is possible for an adult and a child to have a sexual relationship.
I mean, if you want to have the conversation about, like, I guess being, like, legally being in, like, within a reasonable age range, so, like, Comey Carson, for example, like, a 19-year-old who's technically a legal adult, I guess having sex with, like, a 17-year-old who's still technically a minor. I don't think anyone would argue with you there if that's what you're talking about, but this is obviously meant to be, like, the way Vosh worded it, it's obviously meant to be, like, a provocative statement to intentionally get people to, like, pay attention, being like, it is possible for an adult to have sexual relations with a child. I also hate when people are very broad with this, especially when it comes to internet allegations, because when somebody says adult and minor, like, I think of, like, I don't know, 30-year-old and 13-year-old. That's, like, the EDP age gap. Or, like, a fucking, like, 9-year-old and a fucking 25-year-old or something. Like, that's what I think of when I think of adult and minor. Like, the first two ages is not, like, I don't know, man. Obviously, coming from Vosh, it's a little bit, it definitely does not seem like the hill to die on. At least I wouldn't die on this hill.
And for it to have positive outcomes on the child as well.
Yeah, so, children do not know better. Children cannot consent. Adults can consent. So, hopefully that helps, Vosh.
Right, who buy child porn. Would you say they should not be held responsible for doing that?
Yes. In fact, and this is going to be a real hot take, I have yet to hear a convincing moral or legal argument as to why possession of child should be illegal.
That is fucking crazy. That is, like, actually an insane thing to say.
Actual child.
The argument that I was making essentially is that people...
Wow, guys, I don't think this is the type of person that would ever get caught in 4K with short stack goblins on his PC. I don't think he'd ever get caught in 4K with that, ever. That'd be a silly thought.
People are inconsistent in their moral outrage.
He really was making that argument. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is like, you know, sometimes people are so smart they're stupid.
High-key misogynist.
If anyone makes an expression like this at the camera at any point, it's legally okay to be sexist towards them.
Oh, stop. What are you like?
Shut up, bitch.
Not something I'd have chosen for myself, but hey, whatever gets you going.
Stupid fucking bitch.
I don't think some people quite understood what I meant.
Damn, it's literally like Asmongold on the opposite end of the political spectrum.
When I talked about how
it's like Asmongold if he was politically left, I guess.
A big chunk of male feminists despise femininity and are often the most appalling towards women.
She just wants to live in Mad Men and be sexually harassed by, like, the fucking The Office boys.
Again.
Dude, like, to say that a woman wants to be sexually harassed is, like, the same level as, like, rape apologist rhetoric, right? Like, I'm pretty sure no normal person thinks that.
And one of these debate bros, streamers, you know, I'm going to put forward the arguments as to why my politics are correct. Hey guys, it's me, Vorsh. I don't hate women. Except when they disagree with me, in which case I'll turn into the very...
Didn't, like, Vosh recently, like, talk about the Epstein files and condemn the Epstein files to some capacity? Isn't that, like, his, like, main source of coverage? But then all of a sudden now, like, he's had, like, histories of, like, arguing for child porn being legal and shit. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Men that I supposedly despise and talk ill of. Okay, buddy, this is why you can't trust male feminists, bro. It's the performative male thing. Online now, people will voluntarily put forward their beliefs and ideological perspectives.
Well, I'm pretty sure the stereotype with, like, male leftists is that they do it just because they want to, like, sleep with women and shit. Like, it's like the stereotype.
And if you take in enough of it, you can synthesize it and say, okay, can't say this thing, can say that thing. If I say more of column A and less of column B, I'm good. But there's only so much you can keep that mask on, you know? It's a persona. I guess somewhat piggyback.
I feel like there's an argument for a lot of personas that exist. I mean, right-wing grifting is a persona. Like, you look at Def Noodles, he can't even right-wing grift properly, and he used to grift for the left all the fucking time. And then you have, like, the stereotypical, like, performative leftist who, like, I mean, that's performative because they want to pass the purity test based on the spheres that they have aligned with.
Piggybacking. I guess piggybacking, that doesn't sound right. Following on from the Vorsh thing, and that if you disagree with me, I will kind of kick you to the curb in the same way that everybody else does. You know, you have, let's say, people that qualify as being marginalized, say. And so a lot of conversation, a lot of airtime, stream time, whatever, is spent defending and saying, you know, we need to look after the most vulnerable, and the most vulnerable just so happen to be the people that they're not straight, they're not cis, they're not white, for instance. You know, you've seen The Matrix, and one of the darlings in leftist spaces, at least for the past 10 years or so, has been trans people. And yet, when it comes to, like, again, it's the Vorsh thing of, like, I'm pro-women until they disagree with me, and then the Hassan thing is, I'm pro-trans until they disagree with me, and then it turns into, you're just a trans woman. It's like...
I feel like the only reason people watch Hassan is because he's attractive. Or, like, I don't think Hassan's an ugly person. Like, he's definitely an attractive guy. Do I think people exaggerate how attractive he is? Yeah, a little bit. But, like, I feel like that's mainly the reason why. It's just, like, women that have, like, relationship problems that are, like, in their 30s or 40s gravitate to Hassan, or, like, fucking teenagers that, like, gravitate to Hassan because they see him as, like, Hassan is very pseudo-intellectual, but they think that he's smarter than he actually is.
My issue as a trans person is the fact that you, a guy that isn't super well versed on trans shit, brought on a known transphobe knowing he might bring up transphobic shit. You aren't exactly a Vosh at trans debates. I hope that the rest of your life is as horrible as it is every single day, okay? There you go. Suck my dick. I despise you. I despise you more than anything else on the planet. You are fucking cancer, okay? You are cancer in this community, and you're cancer in every community. You are just a trans person.
Whoa, Hassan is transphobic? That's crazy.
Sorry.
Are they a protected class or not? Do they have a life experience that needs to be taken into account or not? Or is it just when their ideology points a certain way? I was going to leave it here. I was just going to make a point about the fickleness of a person like this, the kind of person that puts ideology before humanity, let's say. However, that was before the great shockening of 25.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll get to Shocktober 7th, but, like, I think to piggyback off of the previous point that Leighton made there, just because somebody is a trans person doesn't make them immune to criticism. Like, yes, are they a marginalized group? Absolutely, because conservatives try to fucking shit on them all the time, especially on Twitter. Like, transphobia has been uber rampant for years. So, like, I think that it is, like, something that you should advocate for, but just because somebody is a trans person does not make them automatically immune to criticism. Like, if they do a bad thing, you can criticize that bad thing. You know, that goes for gay people, black people, people in the Middle East, white people. Doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what group they fall under. Like, if they do a bad thing, they're, like, worthy of criticism. I don't think that's a particularly hot take.
It is emblematic of all of America's much more consequential violence, okay? It's the same reason as to why America...
Kaya, please, just fucking go. Just stop. I've watched this clip so many times. I tried to sync it. Hopefully I did well. Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
It's a very legendary clip. I don't know. I mean, then again, like, listen. I mean, at this point, I've given my take. Like, it sounds like Hassan is, like, shitty to Kaya, and that's not right. But, like, at this point, like, it's kind of, like, whatever, because at the end of the day, shot colors are legal in California. Not saying that makes it okay, but, like, if somebody is following the law, you can't necessarily fault them for following the law. You know what I mean? Like, some people use shot colors to train their animals. I think it's unethical. But at the same time, there's not really much I can really... Like, I mean, like, I get why people are outraged by it. And I, at the time, was as well. But I think we've gone months at this point. Nothing has really came of it. So it's kind of just like, what more can I really say about this situation?
Christ, what are you doing? You're being such a baby.
This geezer so obviously and blatantly shocked his dog and then tried to lie about it for fucking days that turned into weeks that may well turn into months. Previous videos of him shocking his dog started to resurface.
Please fucking go back over there. Go England. No, I have it still. I bought it. They are incredibly effective.
I genuinely think the way that Hassan reacted to this qualifies for top 10 anime crash outs of all time. He's saying he hates you, he hates his fans, he hates all of his supporters.
I can't stand any of you dumb fucks in this goddamn chat. Oh my fucking god, I hate the left. I hate liberalism. I hate everything that's going on every single fucking day of the goddamn week. I hate my life. I hate fucking streaming. I hate socialism. I hate every single fucking person who thinks that the peak of activism is just being the most annoying, holier than thou, the most ultimately woke leftist. You did it. You did it. You have unlocked the fucking nihilism within me, okay?
It's crazy because, like, if Hassan literally just came out and said, like, yeah, I use shot colors, and I had the setting on that was too... Because this is what most likely happened, right? Hassan probably does, for the most part, use the vibrate function, but he had the shock setting way too high in that moment. That's probably the, like, most charitable interpretation and, like, the best argument you could use if you want it to be charitable to Hassan. But the problem is that, like, Hassan just kept lying about it and kept saying that, oh, it's not a shot color, it's a vibration color. And then he literally, like, wouldn't show it the day that he was getting the allegations. And then, like, I think the day after he showed his shot color, but he very obviously taped it where the prongs would be. And, like, then Cutie Cinderella pretty much blurted out that it was a shot color, and there's old clips of Hassan admitting it was a shot color. Like, honestly, at this point, Hassan kept responding to it, and he turned himself into a fucking lol cow. And then he had this crash out because this was every single controversy that Hassan has had in the past has always been controlled to some capacity. Like, when he waved a gun around and, like, performatively, like, that was a, like, controlled controversy. When he says that Hila Klein is a valid military target, that was, like, a controlled controversy. And stuff like that. But, like, this was the first controversy where even some people in Hassan's audience, like, actually left. I'm talking, like, 3-year subscribers in Hassan's audience were getting, like, banned and shit because they were actually, like, calling out Hassan. And instead, now it's, like, Hassan couldn't control it any longer, and it became, like, meme status. And he sat here having a fucking meltdown about it.
I am black-pilled. Nothing will ever get better. I want to just shut it off, dude. I want to shut everything off. I just want to go away. If I wasn't so goddamn stubborn, I would have a long time ago. Oh my lord, dude. I 100% think you should someday go on sub-only mode. What do you mean? The most annoying people are literally like the 40-month subscribers. What are you talking about? The people that actually brick me, the people that actually cause me to fucking spiral out of control are always the people that have been in this fucking community for years, who never shut the fuck up.
I'm just watching clips of this thing get progressively worse over days, and it's like, I would respect you much more if you just said that you fucked up. Like, I've been sat on my chair, damn near turning into 90s Chris Rock, like, I know you did it, just admit it.
I know you did it, just admit it. I know you did it, I got it on film.
I know you did it, just admit it, you fucking bitch. But of course he's not going to. This is quite literally...
Well, yeah, because Hassan is, like, left-wing Donald Trump. Like, whenever he gets, like, any form of criticism or anything, like, Hassan can't help but lie. Like, Hassan is a pathological liar. And that's, like, who Hassan has kind of, like, always been. And so I think because he's gotten away with pathologically lying so much to his audience, he thought this time would be no different. But people care so much about animals. Hassan has gotten away with, like, dog-whistling anti-Semitism all the time on his platform. And, like, spewing pro-Hamas propaganda and, like, all this shit. He's gotten away with it for so long, but the straw that broke the camel's back was when Hassan, like, fucking shocked his dog, and that controversy wasn't controlled, so he sat on stream and he had a fucking meltdown.
the guy that proudly referred to himself as a propagandist.
As far as me being a propagandist goes, everyone is a propagandist. I'm just honest about it. You're a propagandist. You think it's a bad word. I don't. That's just the difference.
What's the, when people tell you who they are, believe them? Oh, but he's handsome though. If he looked like this, you wouldn't give a fuck about him. Similarly, I've had this thing in my mind. This is kind of off topic, but fuck it. I've had this tweet in my mind for about like 4 or 5 years now, and I've just never posted it. This is so dumb. If Karl Marx's name wasn't spelt like this, but it was spelt like this, nobody would give a fuck about him. Similarly, if Hassan Piker didn't look like this, he looked like this, nobody would give a fuck about him.
That's kind of like weirdly a good point. Like, I mean, I pretty much mentioned at the beginning of the section, I feel like the only reason people watch Hassan is not necessarily for the political drama. I say political content, but Hassan is political slop. He does political drama, and there is a difference. But, like, Hassan, like, is a attractive man, and I feel like that's a big reason as to why he has the audience that he does. And another big reason is the fact that he was grifting off of Israel-Palestine for a while, because his viewership wasn't nearly as high as it was after October 7th. Not that he was doing terribly before then, but he definitely averaged a lot more viewers after that. He could constantly grift off of Israel-Palestine. And then, I would say Colorgate definitely left a dent in his career. I wouldn't, like, his career's not dead. Like, he's still able to stream, and he's still able to do just fine, but his numbers are not as high as they were before after the whole Colorgate stuff.
Yeah, man, those fucking Republicans... No, it's not even how he sounds. I just think it's very telling how people not only treat their own fans, but treat animals. When something,
just stop.
You can lord power over them. How do they treat them?
Well, I think there's also an argument for Hassan in particular when he lets Kaya just sit in one place for like fucking 4 or 5 hours straight, or however long he streams for. Like, I mean, that is like some form of animal abuse if you don't let an animal move around your house. And like, who gives a shit if an animal like comes up onto your lap in the middle of a segment that you're doing? Like, streamers have, like, their cats climbing on shit all the fucking time. Like, you can do the same thing with your dog. Who cares?
Got that? So what, again, tangential, when people would be like, oh, when you're on a date, you should make sure to see how the person you're on a date with treats the waiter. And in my mind, I'm like, how is that a good heuristic? Because it's so easy to not treat people like shit. Apparently not. Apparently for a lot of people, it's actually quite difficult, and I just wasn't aware. Am I saying that Hassan Piker is a psychopath? No. But I am saying he has some psychopath tendencies. The torturing of animals. It's like every serial killer, bro. If he just changed his glasses and put the Dharma glasses on, he's probably killed at least 3 people.
It's Hassan Morgan or Dexter Parker.
And even if he doesn't actually shock his dog, which he obviously does, the idea of forcing spot training your dog, your pet, your whatever, to stay in one spot.
That is a form of abuse, yes. That would be considered one.
These fucking animals are prop, bro. What the fuck are we talking about? This guy invested.
It seems like the Twitch community doesn't seem to care, though. They only care when it's, like, somebody that they, like, dislike. But because Hassan is a big streamer, he kind of just gets... He's gotten away with it in a lot of, like, leftist spaces. But, like, it seems like... Again... I don't really think any normal person takes Hassan seriously anymore. He's just, like, kind of a lolcow at this point. And besides which, he's not, like, a threat to America compared to some of the other problems we face currently in this country.
And a fucking animal, because presumably he's fucking A/B testing. He's fucking min-maxing his stream of, like, oh, if I have a doggy in the background, people will watch for longer. You can present yourself so easily of, oh, he's got a dog, he's such a nice guy. He could be a cunt. Even if he's not actually a psychopath, he certainly demonstrates the schadenfreude of one, telling people to kill political actors that aren't hypothetically in their best favor.
Left-wingers, liberals, you need to be fucking showing your opponent's guts on there, okay? You need to be gutting them. You need to be shanking these motherfuckers and letting their intestines just ride on stage. What the fuck is this shit, man? Slice them up. Slice them and fucking dice them. What the fuck is this?
It doesn't matter if he's an animal abuser. It doesn't matter if he is the America deserved 9/11 guy.
America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it. I'm saying it.
It doesn't matter if he's low-key pedophilic, talking about Hannah Montana's a slut.
legendary question of all time. Old enough to count, old enough to mount? Question mark. I want to say thank you to Miley Cyrus for showing off her camel toe at the VMAs the other night.
Wow, that's an insane comment to make. I thought that, Leighton was gonna bring up how Hassan admitted that he attended a, Sean Combs Diddy party, but doesn't really seem like, wow, I didn't even know that this clip existed.
I always knew Hannah Montana was—
Bro, this looks AI. Is this AI? Like, I swear to God, this looks like AI!
Little slut.
You can't tell anymore. That's the problem with AI, is you can't tell whether something is or isn't AI.
Don't even try to hide it. This is a classic example of what happens when your father doesn't pay attention to you. You turn out to be a slut who's craving for attention, and then I tend to pick you up at a bar late night and—
Damn, Hassan used to be red-pilled, or kind of. I guess he used to be— Actually, I wouldn't call it red-pilled. He used to be more of like, your Spartacus Fortune, like your alpha male. That's not quite being red-pilled. It's more of like toxic masculinity, which I do think there is a bit of a difference between the two.
Bang you out on the first date.
This is your king? This is your mascot? What are we talking about? But he says the right things, though. But he's a cunt. Is this going to be the end of Hassan Piker? Of course not, because as we know, politics isn't actually about politics. It's about teams, it's about association, it's about ideology. And so long as you continue espousing the right things, you'll continue to be enjoyed, even if you're low-key a pedophile, even if you're a cunt. Even if you scream at your own fan base that you don't actually like them, that you hate them, that you quite literally shake somebody's hand that represents you and you wipe it off. How many clearer indicators of disgust sensitivity do you need? This guy... Bro.
Hi.
I just wanted to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
My hero, for sure.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. What should we do? Kaya.
Time passes. People forget. This geezer came out of the Zoran Mamdani win. Motherfuckers started clapping like he didn't.
I thought Zoran Mamdani, like, doesn't even do interviews with Hassan anymore. Like, I could have sworn, like, Zoran Mamdani disavowed Hassan and said that, like, his comments about 9/11 were reprehensible. Which is fucking hilarious that Andrew Cuomo brought that up during a fucking debate as if it was gonna be a gotcha, even though Zoran Mamdani doesn't approve of Hassan's comments about 9/11. Hey, y'all. I forgot to plug it in the video, which is why I'm editing this in a non-cohesive way. I am plugging my Iconismus TikTok. Been trying to grow the TikTok as much as possible, so if you guys are not already following me there, what are you doing? Go follow me. The link is in the description. Or you can go on TikTok and search Iconismus_. That should be me. You can watch TikToks about how confidence could be a potential placebo when it comes to relationships. Or how this MAGA woman was literally saying Zoran Mamdani is a red flag and has massive cognitive dissonance throughout the entire TikTok. There's also some kick drama that I've covered. There's also a couple of Asmongold clips. There's a lot of exclusive stuff here that I don't cover in my long-form content. So what are you waiting for? Go on TikTok, search up Iconismus_, or click the link in the description below to find my TikTok, and you guys should go follow me there. Been trying to grow the TikTok as much as possible, and yeah, that's about it.
Dude. I do not care about the size of your house. I do not care about how cool a car you drive. I do not care about how many people watch your stream. To me, a loser is a loser is a loser.
Motherfucker, come here.
It's interesting because, like, all the people that were defending Hassan from the Colorgate drama never, like, even attempted to address this clip of him pulling the dog's tail, which is bad for their spine. They never once addressed that ever. I wonder why.
Hey, if you run right now...
Seems like there's a lot of selective outrage that goes on in a lot of immature online spaces.
Fucking kill you. Like, I'll actually kill you, okay? In front of everyone.
Big Joel. I don't really have anything for Big Joel. Big, I don't think he's that tall. Joel, his real name's Henry. How am I supposed to trust you when you've lied to me twice just by introducing yourself? FD signifier. I've already spoken about this geezer before in a previous video. I'm not going to do it again in this one. I'll give you a little bit of a hint.
This is the problem with like as a token.
It depends on what position the token is in.
Not only is a racist slur.
And so if you want to hear about my thoughts regarding...
Oh. Is that actually a slur? Damn, okay. That's tough stuff.
That...
I've never heard someone... maybe I've heard someone use that term a while back. Maybe I don't hear it often because it is a slur. I don't know.
It'll be in the pinned comment or the description, or I'll do the little eye... You'll find it. You'll find it, baby boy. This also might be a little bit of a niche one, or like a British coded one. Me again. The reason I said also is because at one point in this video's sequencing, there was another British person mentioned. However, since filming, some things had come to light, which is not to say that it made the things that I said originally untrue or dishonest. It just lacked a lot of context, and so I'm going to take that section out and I'll throw it up on Patreon because, you know, I've already done the work. I may as well put it there, and I'll put like an extension of the disclaimer, and you'll find out who it is, who old Chuckles was going to put a critique.
Do we have any guesses on who it is, guys? Leave in the comments below if you know who that is.
Was going to critique. So if that's interesting.
Damn, this guy laughs a lot. It's okay. I instinctively laugh in my videos when I feel awkward. I don't know what to say either. And I don't know. I've had people like River Silver make fun of me for fake laughing, quote unquote. And a lot of times I just do it when I don't know what to say, or when things are a little bit awkward. Maybe I'm in like a controversy. I don't fucking know, dude. I've been trying to like eyeball it a little bit though, a little more, and try not to do it as much, because if it really is like a bothersome to people, I guess not. Hey, I just did it there. Wow, look at that. I do it by instinct. Like I do it as like a habit.
That'll be on Patreon. You can watch it immediately after this video if you're still clamoring for content. Gary's economics. Not super privy to this guy. Again, like I'm not privy to everything and anything under the sun when it comes to the regards of any of these people. Man's not on the internet all day. This one is not necessarily actually about his political beliefs. I think generally I would imagine that him and I align on like, it's not getting worse, rich getting richer, poor getting poorer, inequality, etc. And that I also have like a significant amount of resonance in that, like a lot of the characteristics in which we grew up in are fairly similar, you know, working class background, volatile-ish upbringing, the saving grace to our lives being intellectual, you know, being able to go on to higher education and, you know, make it out the mud and that. So again, this critique is not about what he says necessarily, but certainly the way that he goes about doing it, the kind of rhetorical devices that he uses, and once you start seeing them, you can't unsee them, or I can't anyway. There's this kind of martyrdom that he does where he's like, you know, I know this isn't gonna work, but we gotta do it anyway. And it's like, if you know it's not gonna work, why are you like putting your eggs in this basket? I'll go on to talk about why that may be in just a second.
I know it's difficult, and I know I'm probably going to lose. I know I'm probably going to lose, and that means our viewers will be poor. But I do it anyway because I do not want this country that I grew up in to fall into desperate poverty. And I know that Farage will win, and I know that Trump will win, and I know that things will get worse. I don't think I'm going to win.
So if you know you're promoting a strategy that is not going to work, and it sounds like you think is incredibly, almost impossible, then why would you not be more practical in your solution?
In certain debates, I've watched him like straw man arguments of like, well, you just want da 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 da, but I'm fighting for da 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 da. It's like, you're not honestly representing the other person's side, you know, that you're talking to.
So it's not about fairness, it's about pragmatically what can you get away with.
All right, well, pragmatically what we can get away with is desperate poverty for our viewers' kids.
If you want to have...
Okay, I mean, it sounds like he's a little bit, would abrasive be the right term? I don't know if he's like I guess it would be abrasive. Maybe he's just like kind of guttural with some of the stuff that he says, just because he knows that it's kind of provocative and he knows that it'll generate discussion. I don't know, man. Maybe this is like a charitable interpretation. I'm gonna be honest, I've never even like heard of this like Gary economics person. You have a really long segment on this guy though.
Can we zoom out just a minute, right? I want to zoom out.
Let's zoom away from our viewers' kids.
Zoom out.
Forget about them. They're not that important.
And then even in, let's say, like, closed conversations, you know, it's three people, there's still this kind of, like, appeal to the audience. It's not technically there, but I guess will be by the time it gets converted into video. There's this kind of, like, breaking of the fourth wall of, like, you know, our kids will be all right, but the viewers' kids, it's like...
Let's have a tax system where your kids and my kids and Stephen's kids are multimillionaires, and these guys out there can't afford to feed their kids and put the heat in.
That's not what I'm saying.
But that's what you will get.
That's not what I'm saying.
That is what you will get. That's That's what I'm betting on. That's fine, because I'll make money in the markets. It's fine. And you'll make money, and you'll make money. It's our viewers who'll be poor, and that's fine.
There was a point, and I wasn't sure if this guy at the time was being literal when he said this, because again, fairly new to his point of view, let's say, and his character overall. But there was a point where he, like, wasn't sure if this was figurative, where he's like, I bet on things getting worse year after year. I wasn't sure if that was figurative or literal, and then it turns out that, like, he used to be an investment banker, and so
I made millions of pounds by betting that inequality would destroy the economy and the lives of ordinary families.
Well, I mean, he's from the UK, so should we really validate his opinion, or Leighton's opinion for that matter? Got him. But on a serious note, my point being that, like, I'm not particularly educated on how bad the homeless problem could be in the UK. If somebody lives in the UK and could educate me on it a little more, maybe let me know in the comments. So I'm not going to speak to that necessarily. But I can tell you from a US perspective in particular, homelessness is a problem, but they're not like a threat to the economy. Like, I would argue that billionaires are way more of a threat to the economy than actual homelessness. Like, you have fucking Elon Musk and, like, Jeff Bezos, both of which who can take, like, fucking tons of loans equal to their net worth, and then they don't have to pay taxes for those loans, and then when they die or pass away in life, like, by the time that they would have to pay taxes, their children can inherit all that money anyways. But, like, they can literally dodge the tax system so effectively by constantly taking loans against their fucking net worth. And it's just like, that is more of a threat to this economy than any, like, homelessness problem that we potentially have here. I don't know if it's the same in the UK. I mean, they obviously have different ways of doing things, but still.
You do not tax them, I guarantee you poverty will continue to explode in this country. And I'm not just saying that, I'm betting on it. And I bet on it year after year, and I've made millions of pounds betting on it. And I don't want to be right this time.
He is a millionaire, multi-millionaire, that, you know, ostensibly fights on the side of the little guy, the side of the oppressed people, relatively, you know, rich, poor. And there's something slightly unsettling about that in, you know, after, for instance, reading White Fragility, the Robin DiAngelo book, where she, a white woman, is telling other white people that they're oppressors and that, you know, black people and other people of color are oppressed, and it's not going to get better. It hasn't gotten any better over like half a century. Something about it just rubs me the wrong way. Like, I critiqued that book, the White Fragility book.
I think it's the same logic as, like, Asmongold, for example. Like, Asmongold is like a self-proclaimed nihilist, and he has the perspective that nothing is going to get better. And he thinks that it's based and cool to be a nihilist because his audience overvalidates him for it. And so he just gives takes that a nihilist would give because the world's not going to get better. And I think that's a pathetic mindset to have, quite frankly. It's like, it's completely doom and gloom. It's not actually productive to any conversation. Like, you don't try to provide any meaningful solutions to any problems other than the ones that make you feel based for your audience. It's obviously she doesn't seem like she has the same level of audience that Asmongold has based off what I'm hearing, or Gary Economics rather, sorry. But I just can't imagine, like, normal human beings being gravitated to this kind of content. Like, who does this actually resonate to?
For the course of like a mini-series, and the final episode, I remember the title of it being like 5 words. It was calls herself racist, becomes millionaire. So, you know, what's that? Baby shoes for sale, never worn. I got a more punchy title in 5 words, let alone sit now. I don't think it's a good idea to have your income be incumbent on the thing that you're claiming to be fighting against. It's just a little bit suspicious for my liking. When your money and fame comes off the back of the thing that you are supposedly fighting against, it's like, but you're the beneficiary of the inequality. Again, you've literally said that you bank on it getting worse and that's how you make your money. And then that's the way he gets clouted as well. Like, there's a nobility of, like, you know, but he's one of the good ones though. He's one of the good multi-billionaires. There was an episode of Black Mirror, I think in the first season, where I guess it was like an allegory in the same way that almost every episode that they do is an allegory. I guess all of the episodes. But, you know, there's a premise where, like, it's essentially people are just being entertained to do work, And that's basically the duality of life. You go to work, you come back, you entertain yourself, you numb your brain, blah blah. And there's a point where the main character of that episode, you know, is had enough, doesn't want to do it anymore.
Is that the same actor from, is it Moonlight? Is that what it's called? I think, I forget the actual name of it, but it was like a 2016 film, I swear to God. Oh, and, Get Out as well. I think he was in Get Out. I could have sworn. Like, I swear to God, like, I recognize that actor in the background.
And gives the impression that they're going to kill themselves. And then...
Whoa, that's an edgy word on YouTube, or set of words.
Doesn't. And then the system kind of, like, takes that person in.
Authenticity is in woefully short supply. I'd like to hear you talk again.
How so?
The slot on one of my streams where you can talk just like that.
And they put forward that message time and time again, but then they never commit to the thing, you know, I'm fine for you guys, I see the injustices too.
Farewell forever. To the same time next week.
Meanwhile, they're living a completely different life to the people that they're supposedly fighting for. I'm obviously not making an argument that, oh, because he's a millionaire, the points that he's making, the political views that he has are invalid. I think that's silly. That's a kind of like...
Well, no, I think there's a level of truth to that. Like, when you have someone like Pokimane saying that we live in such a greedy capitalist society, and then they benefit off of said capitalist society, I think it's right to call the disconnect from that. The same with Hassan. Hassan says that capitalism is bad, unless he benefits off of it, because he gets to live in... rich apartments in LA and gets to have all these like fancy cars and shit and all this like fancy shit that he can buy. So I think there is a level of disconnect you get to call out, especially considering this guy seems to commentate over the status of poor people a lot.
Point epistemology thing of like, well, who are you to say that, and so we're gonna discredit your beliefs because your characteristics don't align with the kind of person that should have those beliefs. That's, you know, silly, but like, I don't know. Bro's getting clouted off of it. It's kind of theatrical, even down to the like the body language. Like, he does these kind of like crab hands often. I'm holding a mic so I can't do it with both, but it's this kind of like, is it like a humility or like an honesty thing of like expressing a kind of vulnerability? I don't know, he does these weird crab hands. Maybe I'm being a bit too like micro detailed on it, but I feel like a body language expert would be able to talk about it in some way of like what that conveys. And then, speaking of people that are quite into theatrics when it comes to the left space, let's say, I was going to talk about Philosophy Tube, and then I thought I can't really do that because I haven't watched a Philosophy Tube video in at least 3 years. I think the last time I watched a Philosophy Tube video, or fully anyway, it was the trans coming out video, which I'm gonna be honest, I watched that whole thing and it had been so long prior to me watching a Philosophy Tube video that I didn't realize that the guy talking for most of it was not actually Philosophy Tube, and then, you know, the reveal is, you know, I'm not
Whoa, Leighton's being transphobic? How do you not know that it's not the same guy? That's crazy.
The name of which are you...
For those who don't understand that joke, that's a callback to a video I did in December, where this guy, Taylor Grodin, got involved in a controversy in the object show community where somebody else mistaked another black person because of the color of their skin at like an object show convention or whatever. It was like really stupid. Now the joke's not funny because I have to explain it. God damn it.
Previously went by, I'm Abigail now, which was like cool, but then also, like, as I say, I'm like, is this an issue of all white people looking the same, that I can sit through 30 minutes of a thing and be like, that's the person that I previously watched, and then...
I'm not trying to be an asshole, but, as a white person, I could say the same about other races, but, you know what I mean? I mean, listen, it happens. In Leighton's defense, it happens. A lot of white people do look very similarly. You know, I do think that there is, probably, maybe it's the hair. I feel like it's the hairstyle. It's got to be the hairstyle. Oh, it's got to be, you know what I think it is? It's the facial hair, surely. Like, the facial hair on this guy is very similar to the facial hair on the guy on the right. So it's got to be that. You just look at the facial hair and you, like, put, like, everything else kind of, like, acts as a puzzle. You like, put all the pieces together even if it doesn't look like that on a deeper look, I guess. Or on deeper scrutinizing.
It'd be like, lol JK. I don't know. I do feel like I remember watching it being, it was interesting to say the least. Partially because, like, in a previous video, PhilosophyTube did say that, like, they are a cisgender person.
Before we dive into the remainder of this video, I should say up front that I am cisgender. For those of you who might be new to this sort of terminology, that means that my gender matches the one I was assigned at birth. So I'm not transgender.
And then also, when explicitly asked about, like, whether they had ever experienced gender dysphoria, they said that, like, they hadn't. So
Alice Rose, recently found out about LeftTube, really enjoy your content. Came at a good time because I've recently been through a tough break lately over who I am. Oh, a tough breakup over who I am and a lot of gender dysphoria. Any advice? I don't have any advice on dealing with gender dysphoria. It's not something I've ever experienced. As for breakups, I've been there.
It's not really for me to care about or know. I'm kind of just like laying the foundation for how I am familiar with this person, let's say. I think the thing that I find interesting about PhilosophyTube is, since ContraPoints, I suppose, like, paved the way for the kind of aesthetic and methodology, so to speak, of how to present ideas online. There was a very deliberate and conscious, "Ayo, can I see your homework real quick?" It's like, you know, once the meta was carved out, it's like, here's before, blank background or bookshelf background, and then here's ContraPoints, and then here's PhilosophyTube. It's like, these are the same image. What's the meme? These are the, I don't know. And I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that either. Like, this, you know, the comparison, or like how identical these things are. Like, I'm not even the first person to call it out, because in fact, the most prominent person to talk about it is indeed...
Oh, he accidentally left a cut in there. Damn, it happens.
Herself, Natalie ContraPoints. A bit of a cryptic deleted tweet for you.
I never really tuned into the whole, like, ContraPoints controversy. It just kind of, like, I don't know, it seems like a lot of leftist people, like, she gave, like, a take on Israel-Palestine that apparently wasn't good. I saw it in passing, but I never really, like, did a deep dive on it.
Coming. Pause. Look, I get the pain of the trans woman who realizes that her boyfriend wants to be her. I really do. But on the bright side, at least your ex didn't also ditto your entire YouTube career. That would be so awkward. Haha. I wonder who that's about. A man plagiarized my work. My sister in Christ. You plagiarized a whole identity. What are we talking about? When all is
maybe, I guess. I don't know.
Said and done, is being a bit of a copycat, and...
This is gonna suck, because my fucking, knowledge on PhilosophyTube is not really there, so I don't really know what I can say about this particular point.
Making edutainment that much of a crime when you think about it. Not really. So, I guess moving on from Temu ContraPoints, we'll now talk about actual ContraPoints. I will get to the Israel-Palestine thing in a second, which I imagine is the main thing that people are caring about. Once again, I guess I'll just do a bit of a rundown of how I'm familiar with ContraPoints. I actually feel, hang on, if we're in 2025 now, maybe like 8 years, 8 to 10 years plus, I feel like I have a...
Depends when this video came out, or maybe you, like, pre-recorded this footage, but I'm in 2026 as of the time you're recording this.
Memory of, like, seeing a guy in, like, a vest or something, so obviously pre-transition. I remember hearing about or seeing an interview wherein she mentioned about how, like, who was it, like Vice or something, you know, being interviewed about, you know, how she's steering people away from the alt-right pipeline, so to speak. And there was a comment that she made about how narrative and story and emotional storytelling is the thing that actually persuades people rather than facts of the matter, which I was like, well, isn't that a little bit convenient to have that belief? I mean, it's technically true, but then when imbued into content, let's say, might turn out to be a little bit problematic, because if you think that the facts aren't as important...
Facts don't matter to people as much as people think they do. People don't believe because of facts and evidence. They believe things because they're part of a story that they tell themselves.
Because I'm cooked and have read the 48 Laws of Power, I wanted to put forward some of the ways that ContraPoints establishes herself as like being a public figure that people care about, and it's not explicitly because of the opinions that she puts forward. For instance, Rule 43, work on the hearts and minds of others. This, I feel like, very square.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to. I mean, like, to that point to me is very broad, because it's like, it implies that you should have empathy for other people, and you don't always have to have empathy for other people. If you don't have empathy, then you don't have empathy. There's nothing to give. Like, you can't force the feeling.
Ellie fits in with the thing that I mentioned a second ago about like emotional storytelling and narrative and facts not necessarily mattering as much. Slightly as an aside, there's that like CIA or like FBI guy that has become popular, you know, talking about being kind of Machiavellian, a bit of a tactician. Here's how to persuade people, etc. I heard him talk about how, holy moly, if you
almost dropped your laptop there, Mr. Layton,
want to win favor with people, there's like 4 main things that you can do that with. It's an acronym. The acronym was RICE, and I can't off the top of my head remember what all 4 were, but I'll edit it in.
One of the most powerful tools for assessment that CIA teaches us early on in our training is a method that we know as the RICE method. And RICE, R-I-C-E, is actually an acronym that stands for 4 other words: reward, ideology, coercion, and ego.
But I do know that the I was ideology. You appeal to ideology. And I think that is how largely a lot of favor has been won. Rule 11, learn to keep people dependent on you. This shorty has over 26,000 patrons.
Make people dependent onto you. I mean, I hate how broad these are, because it's like, what do you exactly mean by that? Like, if you want somebody to... It's one thing if you want to provide for somebody, and it makes you feel more like a man if you provide for, like, a woman kind of deal. Like, Papa God explained it better than I did. But, like, if you're intentionally trying to get people to draw dependence onto you because... I don't know, man. There's something so odd about that.
Patrons.
I really hate how broad all of these are.
Patreons. She's the high priestess of the online left. You know, whenever she drops, ooh, mommy dropped a video. Another aspect of the, you know, reason as to why...
Damn, and I thought I fake laughed a lot. Jesus Christ.
Things went south. Rule 37, create compelling spectacles. When you've got all this lighting and these elaborate...
Is this how it feels when I chuckle a lot in videos, guys? Like, whenever I chuckle and I don't know, like, what to say in a video, I just, like, randomly laugh for no reason. Like, is that what it feels like?
Set designs, let's say. After you take that away and you're just left with, you know, brass tacks, the raw opinion, you can't hide behind the irony or the irreverent humor, let's say, and then you're just left with, well, here's my opinion, front and center. Not quite as compelling. Mommy's spectacles were so grand that...
Well, I don't understand the point here. Are you saying that, like, she utilizes dramatic irony, but she can't do it anymore? Because it's gotten to a point where, like, so many people take her seriously that it doesn't matter if she's dramatically... Like, she expresses dramatic irony? I don't know. I don't know what the point that he's trying to make here.
They would have you sitting through a 3-hour video about Twilight, a book that is 2 decades old, because once upon a time, she made a video disparaging Jordan Peterson and J.K. Rowling. And in actuality, that is the actual last video of hers that I watched, or I guess watched part of. I think I saw like the first 10 minutes, and then I was...
I guess he's still on like the exposition of how he knows ContraPoints.
Like, this isn't necessarily for me, which isn't a slight. It's just, you know, I'm not the demographic. One of the things that I remember her talking to was like, it took Stephanie 3 months to write the book, and it took her like way longer to write her critique of it.
Honestly, it was more on trend when I started this video, but the script took me 18 months.
Twilight took me 3 months to write.
I remember watching that like, am I supposed to clap? Is that like cool? It's like, oh, mine's more effortful, so it's better. It's like, this person actually made something new, a novel, and you just made a critique of it, like, I'll probably talk about this later, but by and large, I will fundamentally have a preference for something that somebody actually made rather than somebody's critique of it, which I suppose is kind of like an aside in and of itself as to, you know, one of my gripes with the video essay genre, which, are you a video essayist or are you just a professional complainer? When you take away the spectacle and you're just left with the raw words, with nothing else to hide from, the people got upset. ContraPoint, Zionist narcissism personified. Let's have a dabble in the comments.
Well, I mean, it depends. Like, listen, I know that she had like a controversy regarding her comments on like Israel-Palestine. The problem is that, like, in a lot of online spheres historically, and I don't know if it still has this problem because I don't think Israel-Palestine has been talked about as much lately, given some of the bigger problems we face here in the U.S., or I guess, no, I don't want to say bigger problems because that makes it sound like I'm downplaying Palestinians dying. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. More so, we're more focused on another issue, we'll say. That doesn't mean it's less than or bigger than the Israel-Palestine conflict. But she, like, if she says that Israel has a right to exist, in some people's eyes that makes you a Zionist. But the problem with that is, like, Zionism is, like, an extremist ideology that has formed because there has been so much anti-Semitism that has existed for, like, thousands of years. Like, tons of people throughout history have just not liked Jewish people, and that's why Zionism formed, like, after the State of Israel. Now, again, Zionism is an extremist and radicalizing ideology, no doubt, but that is, like, the context as to why it rose to power to begin with. I don't think saying Israel has a right to exist makes somebody a Zionist. I think that if you justify killing Palestinians for the sake of the State of Israel, then that makes you a Zionist, more than anything else.
She would have hated newspapers that covered the civil rights movement. Ending segregation would have been too unrealistic in her eyes. The most cowardly position you can take during a genocide is, if your protest against the injustices isn't going to have immediate results, then there's no point in me joining. People are paraphrasing what she said, essentially. Why they're mad. ContraPoints thinks activism is calling Jordan Peterson a lobster and blocking J.K. Rowling. That's kind of tough, you know. ContraPoints demonstrate.
Hey, I mean, sometimes that's good enough in far leftist spaces. They look at that and they eat that shit up. Sometimes it's more than enough, as long as you have the screenshot ready to go on Twitter.
MLK was entirely correct when he talked about the white moderate. She was gross for demonizing the side trying to stop the catastrophe while giving up on opposing the side doing it. ContraPoints in 1939. Yeah, let's not stop Hitler. It would take years. It is undeniably pretty wild to say, I think there's a genocide happening, but I think doing anything about it is wrong. Damn. She really getting cooked for real. Wow, the rich liberal is acting like a rich liberal. You're the ones paying her, not me. 50 bands minimum a month.
Correction. 100 bands minimum a month.
Rule 5. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life.
So much depends on reputation. That sounds like somebody that cares too much on optics.
Like, the only... Maybe...
Like, not that you shouldn't care about optics, but, like, there are people that care so much about optics to the point where they will literally fucking turn themselves into somebody they otherwise weren't originally and suppress themselves for the sake of optics, and that's a very unhealthy way to look at it. I would never want to... That's called being audience captured, and I personally would never want to fall victim to audience capture. I've already had enough of that on my old platform. Thank you very much.
Not the only. The main thing as a leftist that you're supposed to do is A, not side with the oppressor, and B, look out for the little guy, and it seems like she kind of fumbled on both, and the blowback is getting pretty...
Well, I would have to know what her take is specifically on Israel-Palestine, because if she says Israel has a right to exist, that's not necessarily, like, agreeing with what Netanyahu is doing. I just would have to know specifically what she said.
Unavoidable.
The fastest way to burn influence, the fastest way to burn your persuasive ability and burn your sense-making relationship with people is to be inconsistent, because nobody wants to invest relationship into an inconsistent person.
27. Play on people's needs to believe to create a cult-like following. people really were out here thinking that ContraPoints was infallible, and then she showed a level of fallibility that pretty bad for her audience anyway, let's say. And what's the expression, the scales have been lifted from their eyes, have fallen from their eyes. Not only is this like a lack of ideological purity, which is what a lot of people go to her for, but it's also so like diametrically opposed from the beliefs that one is supposed to have, let's say. I don't know how long...
I mean, I guess the controversy was so big to the point where you had people like Vosh and like tons of other like leftists, or I guess BreadTuber content creators try to talk about it to examine why it was such like a bad thing that she said, but I don't even know the contents of what she said. I just heard the controversy in passing. Controversy. I'm so funny, guys.
This has been going on for how long people have been like skeptical of like, what are her beliefs on this matter? I know I saw that Creators for Palestine thing, and it had all like the BreadTube, LeftTube people on.
Well, there's Hassan Parker. I mean, to be fair, I don't think Hassan Parker actually cares about children dying in Gaza because he makes money off of it, so...
There, the commentary people, and ominously, one of the very salient people in that space that wasn't on that was ContraPoints, and so maybe that is a point of...
Oh, interesting. Okay, so I guess... Well, is that because the organizer of this event chose not to have her in because of the take that she had, or was this, like, even before her take? Or did she choose on her own accord to not participate in this event?
Which people had a kind of level of suspicion. Mommy hasn't told me what to think on this matter. What will become of this? Will there be a bloated video? Will she stop making YouTube videos in the same way that Lindsay Ellis did a few years ago and just see to her Patreon audience? Will there be a power vacuum? Will the high priestess position be in the need of filling? Will this be Philosophy Tube's opportunity to, if you can't wear ContraPoints' skin on your own face, maybe you can take her spot as High Priestess of the pop left. I tried to warn you guys in a previous video of mine, the video essay problem. Stop pedestalizing these people. Stop forming parasocial relationships with these people. Stop expecting them to be morally coherent. You think you know them more than you do not, and then you pay the price when you're...
I mean, denounce every single parasocial relationship in every way imaginable. I don't want people to develop parasocial relationships with me. I'm a small content creator. I've already had, like, a few instances of parasocial relationships happening with me, and I don't want to cultivate an audience that is parasocially tied to me. Like, that's, like, you don't know me. I'm just here to make fucking lazy react content and give my takes on drama or the videos that I'm watching in the moment. That's really all I'm here for. It's very easy content that I make.
I have had skepticism about left-leaning people that use guilt and shame tactics intuitively, but then also because I've stumbled upon research that puts forward the idea that, like, actually it's not about looking out for the little guy. Their personality is actually more oriented towards having dark triad traits, or I guess dark tetrad. Narcissism, Machiavellianism, sadism, psychopathy. Did you expect that the people who metabolize the feeling of shame in almost every video that they do with their smarmy grins and the "this isn't good," all of the thumbnails are the same. It's "this thing bad. This personal thing needs to be shamed." You don't know them or their beliefs. You just know what they don't like or purport to not like.
Well, I mean, the video title is "The Online Left is Eating Itself Alive." And, I mean, my initial reaction is that, like, I thought this video was going to be, like, a conversation about, like, purity testing. I thought that would be kind of cool. But, like, when you say eating alive, you mean that it's, like, they're ruining their own reputations more than anything else. Which I guess kind of makes sense if you're using the examples that you said earlier. But, I mean, I don't know. This video definitely took a direction I wasn't expecting it to go.
I don't think many of these people are good people, frankly. I think it's a easy way to get clouted. Again, these people are...
That I can hard agree with, actually. I mean, a lot of people tend to add... There is, like... It's mainly, like, an online thing more than anything else. But, like, occasionally it can stem into real life. If somebody's, like, terminally online, like on TikTok, for example... Like, a lot of these spaces, you can advocate for a lot of left-leaning values and then audience capture yourself to left people. And then if you, like, if you bubble up by virtue signaling, you make one mistake and that's gonna fuck up your entire career, basically. It's very indicative of the spheres that you hang out in. Trust me, normal left-leaning people are not like that. Normal left-leaning people, I like to think, are a lot more rational than far leftist extremism, though I would make an argument that far-right extremism is much, much more dangerous and much more life-threatening to everyone around us than far-left extremism is.
Professional complainers. It's just another form of being a culture vulture, but you put a little bit of a political spin on it so you feel like you're learning something as you're watching, and
that's the thing. Hassan disguises himself as a political streamer, but he does political slop. And, like, that's fine. You could do political slop, but he disingenuously frames himself as strictly politics, but no, it's just political slop.
It's like, you're probably not. Did we really need 1001 different videos with the same fucking thumbnail talking about Jojo Siwa when I'm president of the world? Anybody that made a Jojo Siwa video is getting a bullet in the back.
Well, I don't know if that's appropriate for YouTube. I don't think that YouTube. Don't take down this video. You're playing with fire with that one, Leighton. For the sake of your YouTube channel, not mine. Because I don't approve of that.
He's getting a bullet in the back of the head. Just kidding.
YouTube, I don't apply. I don't think that. But he said just kidding, so I guess he's all fine and dandy, right?
And that's a joke. It's not going to be in the back of the head. It's going to be in the front of the head.
Oh, well, I don't approve of that, YouTube.
So I can look them in the eyes as I pull the trigger.
Alright, wow, Jesus Christ, dude. This guy's really trying to extend this joke. I guess so am I, because I'm reacting to it.
I remember watching... What special was this? It was a Bo Burnham special. I think it might be What. He's talking about how celebrities get pedestalized. And I think he's specifically talking about some show where they like mimic songs or whatever, and he's kind of likening it to this kind of low-hanging fruit, and like, how dare they think that this is worthy of all our attention, these celebrities fucking around and stuff.
Entertainers, they are lying and they are manipulating you, and it's not in the good way. It's like advertising. You deserve better. I'm not saying I'm it, but I'm the guy that says you deserve better. You go get better. You say, thank you, weird man, bye.
And, you know, the moment that they stop giving you what you want, to essentially kick them to the curb, you know, to not have parasocial relationships in a way that you feel like you know them one-on-one and stuff. And I think that's probably the correct way about going about things, you know, rather than contorting yourself and having, you know, emotional attachments to online personalities. And again, I shouldn't really be saying this because as somebody that also wants to build a following or whatever, I should, you know, be giving you all the incentive to, you know, suck you into my world. Pause. That's not pause. Suck you into my... If I'd have just said suck you...
Listen, Leighton, we all know what you meant by that. It's okay. You want people to slob on the knob. It's totally cool. You know, he's trying to enable power dynamics and parasociality. Is that even a word? Parasociality?
Man. And of course, everything that I'm saying also applies to me too. Because again, I am not an activist. I do not purport to be an activist or even activist adjacent, you know. I'm gonna be honest, guys. Off camera, I say slurs. All right, off camera, I'm gonna say one right now into the mic. Okay, I'm gonna say a slur. So you know I'm not a. So you know that I'm not ideologically possessed. All right, you ready? It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna say 2.
Well, that's certainly a, okay then. I can take a wild guess based off of the second one that he said. The way he said it. I could take a wild guess at which one it was. You guys let me know what you think it is.
Can we get a replay? Action replay.
No.
Table. Chairs. And it's that easy.
Oh. Jesus Christ, dude. God damn it.
Because there was probably a part of you. Some of you will watch.
Listen, I say slurs when no one's around, more than anything. Not the bad ones, not the really, really bad ones. Mainly just the R slur. I've gotten back into the habit of saying it. I shouldn't say it. I know it's a bad habit. But this world has gone to shit so much that it's hard not to call things the R slur these days.
Like, oh, what words did he...
I'm really trying my best to break the habit again and remove it from my vocabulary because it's not good to be saying these words.
say, oh, is he gonna get cancelled or whatever, and it's like, it's that you just don't say certain words, say certain other words, you know, throw in the phrase late stage capitalism.
Who gives a shit if people are canceled these days? Like, I don't even think cancel culture even exists in the year 2026 anymore. I mean, the narrative, like, we went from, like, it's crazy how the fucking goalpost has shifted, where, like, back in, like, 2020 TikTok era, you had, like, Comey Carson, who was canceled for being a 19-year-old talking to a 17-year-old. And now we have it where, like, the fucking people are just so willing to defend, like, pedophilia in the administration. You have, like, Megyn Kelly that says that, like, 15-year-olds are basically adults, and then Nick Fuentes who says that 15 and 16-year-olds are basically old enough. And tons of other conservatives are willing to run defense for Trump, who refuses to release the Epstein files despite running his presidency off promising to release those files.
Every now and then, and all of a sudden you're on the good side. You're a good person. I should have let this be I should have.
Well, I mean, it's not about being good. It's about looking good in a lot of these, like, online leftist spaces. That's just kind of how it goes. And a lot of people seem to refuse to admit that. Or I guess mainly the people that are within the bubble refuse to admit that, because that's not something they really want you to know, truthfully.
I should have scripted this last. I was trying to get fucking... The point of my videos, by contrast, is not to tell you what to think in the same way that many of these other people's are. It's, I have an opinion, or I think I figured something out. Have a consideration. If you like, if you agree, cool. If you don't agree, it's also cool. I don't need you or expect you to mirror my beliefs back to me. You know, this is for contemplation. What did I say in a previous video? Like, these thought leaders, like, stop giving a fuck about these thought leaders. All I really want you to do, if there's any takeaway from this, it's to believe in your own fucking critical thinking. That's all it really is. Stop pedestalizing people, stop outsourcing your own morality and belief system and ideological perspectives to...
Well, we certainly need a lot more of that. I mean... So I think really, like, more than anything else, like, social media has, like, gotten people to stop thinking, like, critically for themselves. They'll see, like, one thing, whether it's on their TikTok feed or their Twitter feed, and they'll take it as a fact. No, I think one of the biggest problems is this goes beyond being, like, far left or far right. It's just people don't want to do their fucking due diligence anymore and look into shit. Nobody cares. Like, it's about looking good to whatever side you fall under. It doesn't matter whether, again, doesn't matter whether you're far left, doesn't matter whether you're far right. You want to look good to whatever side you're trying to pander to. And, like, people just don't want to do their due diligence anymore. They just want to, like, double down on whatever information bubbles up their confirmation bias more than anything else.
People that, first of all, you barely know, and second of all, so consistently convey themselves to be the antithesis of the kinds of things that they purport themselves to be. And plus, half these niggas are mentally ill anyway.
Got him.
And I'm one of them. I'm just kidding.
Listen, he's got the pass. I'm pretty sure this guy is like a black Australian guy. He sounds like he has an Australian accent. I'm pretty sure, or maybe it's New Zealand. Actually, maybe it's New Zealand.
I'm normal. Everybody else is weird. I'm the normal one, and everybody else is weird. These people.
This guy strikes me as like a little like ADHD. Like, and I obviously I love people with ADHD, you know, but this guy definitely strikes me as a guy who has like ADHD for sure in the way he like makes his videos.
People are not good.
Hey, we're all here for it at the end of the day. Like, it's I've got nothing against that. No judgment.
Why are you relying on them in the first place? You know nothing about them. Why are you relying on them in the first place? Why are you relying on them in the first... Fuck. What's the Batman quote? Die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. There's another one. Green...
Isn't that like the Two-Face quote or whatever, or the Joker quote? I could have sworn that's not Batman. Or is it... maybe he's just talking about like the franchise Batman. I don't know.
Green Goblin. They love to see you fall.
But the one thing they love more than a hero is to see a hero fail, fall, die trying.
So maybe just don't build them up in the first place. And I mean psychologically. I'm not saying like don't subscribe to channels. I'm not saying, you know, that you shouldn't subscribe to my channel. I'm just saying, like, in terms of where they...
Guys, he wants you to subscribe to his channel. That's what he's communicating here.
Reside in your mind. How important to you they are. I'm so certain that there's a kind of person that when stuff like this happens has a fucking breakdown. If this person is like this, how can I believe in anything? Believe in your fucking self.
Dayton of Zabus.
Parasocial relationship game 100.
Alright, that was certainly an experience of a video, unlike any other that I've had. But cool stuff!